Honor and respects. This is Sancista Brujo Luis, and I'm doing a video today. Well, since we are in the Halloween season, the season of the witch, this is my second video on the season of the witch series. If you haven't seen the first one, which is about how I use cauldron, el caldero, in my spiritual and magical workings, I'm doing a second video on magical books, magical textbooks that we as brujos use because of one of my first videos that I did on one of my grimoires, my old grimoires, on some comments that I had received, and I felt I wanted to clarify. First of all, I am Puerto Rican. I'm Puerto Rican, and I was raised in a Puerto Rican espiritismo home. So I was raised with a grandmother who was an espiritista, a media unidad. I am also a media unidad. I'm also a brujo. I practice the Latino tradition of brujeria, which is similar to shamanism. I'm going to take a seat right here, which is similar to like shamanism, shamanism from the native Taino cultures, with a mix of European, my Spanish, European gypsy descent, and some African elements. I have also received minor ceremonies in Santeria. I am not a santero. I have only received Mano de Orula, and I've received Los Guerreros. That is as far as I've gone into that tradition. In 21 division, I've received aplazamiento, bautismo. So, I am part of the 21 division, and also in Puerto Rican Sanse, I'm a Sancista. But like I said, I am a media unidad, and I know when to work la obra espiritual, which is separate from brujeria. I don't do brujeria to harm, to cause damage. I do my spiritual or magical workings is to help my clientele. So one of the comments that I had gotten in one of my videos, which I will post a link below of that if you haven't seen it, of my old grimoire, is about how, these books, these ancient grimoires are crackers, European. I just want to state that some of the oldest ancient books of magic, the ancient Coptic Egyptian Spellbook, dates 1,300 years ago. That's from Egypt. There's the Tibetan Book of the Dead from Tibet, which was written in the 8th century. These two cultures are not European. The Codex Gigas, I think, was from the 13th century. Don't quote me on that. And these are way older than the newer grimoires that you would find in European tradition, which date around 400 years ago. You will find ancient texts in Africa. Of course, I just mentioned the Egyptian Codex, which is 1,300 years ago. Egypt is in Africa, okay? We have scrolls, magical scrolls from ancient Japan, ancient China. Many traditions either used scrolls or parchment, or even inscribed their magical or spiritual philosophies on stones. And this is why we use the grimoire or the magic book. So I just wanted to state that out. This is the oldest one of my oldest ones that I have. It's all handwritten, okay? And yes, like I said, I am a espiritista, okay? But as a youngster, learning myself who I was, I studied a European traditional witchcraft, and as well as brujeria from Latin America. What I do is nothing different than you will find from brujos from all over Latin America. And here you will see handwritten trabajos and spells that I did, pretty much all handwritten, and I colored them. So this is one of my oldest books that I still have today, okay? And yes, I still use this. It's one of my prized treasures. Here's one that I've been working on for years, and this is more like handwritten, and it's scrapbook, and I'm trying to get it so that you can see the whole book. It's huge, okay? It's pretty big. It weighs a heft, okay? So a lot of people say that these are new age concept books. Actually, magical spell books have been used in many. This is also handwritten. I also do collage. If you can see, I'm doing collage. Like I was saying, many ancient spell books are from various cultures. They're not necessarily just European. Actually, the ones that we know now, most of the grimoires that we know now, see, these are pages from old books that I used to have when I was a kid that I didn't want to go throw away. And you can see that I've collected old parchments along my way, and then I glue pages and say feathers and, you know, glue things that I enjoy. So you can make your own spell book the way that you enjoy, how you want to do it. These are the archangels, their seals, their invocation. If you can see, I have handwritten all this. So yeah, I mean, I like to do collaging. This is when there's downtime and I have nothing to do. I like to keep all my spiritual sum pages from old books that I find. And I like to just, you know, play around with it. This is one of my favorite from Macbeth, Double Double, Toil and Trouble, which I did a video not that long ago about the cauldron, and you'll see that in there. So don't be afraid to be creative in your life. You're going to have people that are going to dislike what you do. That's their problem. It's not your problem. Brush it off your shoulder. Do what feels right for you, what feels good for you. This is all handwritten. I have my books on espiritismo. This is my books, what I use for mi brujeria, my Latin tradition, you know, not just traditional Latin witchcraft, but traditions that, you know, traditions of witchcraft that have influenced me. I love philosophies from all over the world, whether it's ancient Egypt, China, Japan. So this one's all handwritten. Here's another book right here, which I haven't started. This is a gift from my friend Terry, which I'm going to introduce. He is an Itaco medium shaman. He's half Cuban, half Japanese, and I'm going to introduce him in a future video. This book has not even been written, but it is the practical, you ever see the movie Practical Magic? It's a replica of the Practical Magic a grimoire or spellbook that they used in that movie. It is not written on. It is pretty much plain. But what I like about this book, it's huge. What I like about this book, try to open it with one hand as I'm recording, is that you got this one side of the book, and then in the middle of the book, you open it, and there's another panel to write your spells, your magical works, your prayers, a diary. Spell books don't have to be expensive. I started off with notebooks when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Practical Magic. Was it that movie, Practical Magic? Yeah, I think it was called Practical Magic with Sandra Bullock. But, you know, this is a replica of that book from that movie, where I think they have the good magic here and the darker magic here. A beautiful book. It hasn't even been written in yet. So, you know, I always love to, I love to write. This was a gift from Terry, who is a Cuban, Japanese, Itaco, medium, shaman, and a hedge witch. He is a brujo as well. He is Cuban, Japanese. He gave me this as a gift. One thing about, let me see if they all, well, this one's just brown paper, but if you notice, they all have this beautiful old feel to it. He gave me this as a gift. Let me open up any random page. He gave me this as a gift. And I like it, because he knows that I love to collect old grimoires, old spell books. He worked on some of these pages on the computer. It is a beautiful, beautiful spell book. There is traditions of black salt from Mexican brujeria. There's traditional witchcraft from Europe. There's spells here from ancient Japan, European magic, shamanism. There's some shamanism in this book. It's a really beautiful book. I think he did a very well job. Again, when I started doing my first journals as a kid, I did it in notebooks. In those days when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, I had to just get notebooks. Now you can run into Barnes and Nobles or whatever bookstore, and they have those black journals, those leather journals that you can start handwriting your magical and spiritual. This is a beautiful page. You can handwrite your journey, in your magical life, your recipes, what you do in trabajos espirituales. This was a beautiful gift. I greatly appreciate it. Right there's a pentagram that's inlaid in this leather. And like I said, let me see. This has got like that blue, like a watery blue. This has got that beautiful old Victorian, like an old Victorian. This is a darker, similar to my book, a darker blue. So yes, you can do spell books on any old notebooks. Your library will grow as you grow in time. I have another book that I didn't bring out, which I have a separate video on that, and I will leave a link down below so you can see it on one of my grimoires. And that is what influenced me to do this video today. You can handwrite your spells. You can copy and paste. You can be very creative. You can what's that word I'm trying to use? You can scrap, find pages wherever your old books that are ripping or falling apart. You can save, you can scrap, do a little bit scrapworking. Scrapbooking is fun. Handwriting, see, this is a page that I liked, and then if you can see, I handwrit right here. Pictures that I like, and I glue them down, and I burn the edges, and then I just, write things that I personally like. So be very creative when you're doing your spell books. You can see I don't have the greatest penmanship. Okay, you can do a simple notebook. You can buy a black journal at Barnes and Nobles, like I said. Keep all your stuff collected. All your traditions. You're gonna have people that will talk down about. You have to brush it off. Ignore those people. I do. I ignore people. This is. I like it. I do it to educate younger brujos and help other espiritistas, as well as sansista. I'm one person, but there are different sides to the diamond of who I am in my spiritual work. I never mix the traditions. So when I'm being a espiritista, I am an espiritista. I work la mesa blanca and keep it espiritismo. When I'm working brujeria, I do trabajo espirituales with brujeria to remove curses, for cleansings. I also love to collect grimoires. People they have different things that they like to collect. I like to collect old grimoires. I like to collect old spell books. I like to be very creative on my downtime, and I like to scrapbook. So don't. And these are as you grow older, you will see how much you've changed in your life. How much you've grown in your spiritual practices, in your spiritual traditions. Remember, some of the grimoires that we know today, the European grimoires, are actually pretty new compared to Egyptian spellbooks that date back 1300 years ago, and Egypt is in Africa. We have scrolls from ancient China, ancient Japan, India, where maguses and sages and wizards would write, their works, their magic. You can save up your money and purchase one of these, pretty much expensive tomes, or you can just start off and get yourself a notebook or one of those, leather journals that you find at Barnes and Nobles for $20, and you start from there. Anyways, this is Sancista Brujo Luis. This is the second video to the Season of the Witch video, and this is in response to that comment on how these are white crackers. First of all, I'm Latino I have Taino blood, but I am European blood within me, Germanic blood within me, and Romani gypsy blood within me. So, I'm sancocho here. I'm a mix. I'm gumbo. There's ingredients from everywhere that makes me who I am and the man that I am. And anyways, I'm sorry about that. But anyways, start your journal. Start writing your books and keep records of your magical and spiritual journey. Like I said, this is not the oldest one. This is one of the oldest ones that I have. But some of the older ones that I have, and this is all handwritten, when I was like in my 20s, but I've got, from when I was like 17, literally, handwritten, just notes, and you can see I drew and, So anyways, this is Sancista Brujo Luis. This is just a video on old books, old grimoires, books of shadows, spell books, whatever you want to call it, journals, your magical journals in your tradition and what you practice. If you like this video, please hit that like button, please subscribe, please leave a comment down below, and please share this channel in your favorite social media. This is Sancista Brujo Luis, Santo Sanse.